32-member North Atlantic Treaty Organization, which was established in 1949. Since its establishment, US is a net security provider for the Europe. Means US is always a flag bearer of this organization. All the operations in the NATO, in the name of the NATO, are mostly headed by US. And in fact, US is also one of the largest contributor in the NATO's spending. However, since the Trump's presidency 1.0 and even the second Trump presidency, Trump is very vocal of pushing European countries to spend more on NATO rather than completely dependent on US. And now US have announced that they are going to reduce the number of troops from the Europe. As per the latest report, and then it is confirmed by the US military also, US is going to reduce their troops. Anytime, if you will see, as per the data, somewhere around 80,000 to 1 lakh American soldiers are deployed in various parts of the Europe under the NATO flag, and mostly in the areas of maritime or some border areas near to Russia. But now US have made it clear that they are not going to deploy too many troops in the European areas for the NATO purposes. Means European countries have to think again whether they should be remain dependent on US under the NATO, or they have to think about to secure themselves on their own. And in this context, certain European countries, leading European countries like France, have recently offered to deploy their nuclear arsenals into other European countries in order to provide a security umbrella. This decision of the US is going to make NATO more irrelevant like what NATO have today. NATO was born for providing a security to European countries against Soviet Union. Since the fall of the Soviet Union, Russia became more belligerent, and Russia was in a position where it can challenge NATO. And recent Ukrainian crisis have to make NATO more relevant. However, surprisingly, NATO, rather than going into front, NATO is going to be in the backside. Reason, Ukraine is not part of NATO. However, Ukraine want to be the part of NATO, but NATO member countries are not very keen to have Ukraine as a member of NATO, and they are giving lot of things, you can say excuses. If you want to be a membership of NATO, it will take a longer duration. So in this way, NATO is never coming in the forefront to resolve European conflicts at their border. If they are not able to solve the conflict on their borders, though these issues like Ukrainian issue is not an issue of NATO, but it is on your border. So if you are not able to solve such issues, how effectively you are able to solve if Russia is going to invade Poland? That is a big question. So NATO's relevance is getting day by day under the question mark. And now the withdrawal of more soldiers from NATO in Europe is going to make NATO's relevance more questionable. Thank you.